Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. I am your host, Brady Vini, and we finally made it. The Pittsburgh Steelers play regular season football this week, coming up on Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, against Justin Fields and the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers and your Pittsburgh Steelers will march into MetLife Stadium and hope to escape Week 1 with a victory. But before we get there, we have a ton to talk about today. Firstly, I do want to say, hope you all enjoyed the long weekend. Happy late Labor Day to all of you. Hope you enjoyed the nice long weekend. I know I did, but we have a ton to talk about here today. The news cycle does not stop for anyone. We're going to be focusing mainly on the Pittsburgh Steelers today. Cam Heyward just dropped a new episode of his podcast, Not Just Football this morning. Had a couple interesting things to say on that this morning, including he is still considering, at least alluding to considering, that he may sit out this weekend. To hell with everything else. I'm still, I still haven't gotten my sweetener of a couple $1 million for this upcoming season. We'll see if I play, was his exact quote. So we'll kick off the show here in a matter of moments with the Cam Heyward news. We will also talk about what went down in Mike Tomlin's weekly press conference. Those are back now that we are in the regular season. What all he had to say about the team, the Jets, and all that we will get into. Jaylen Warren, he is a newly richer man as well, signing a contract extension with the Black and Gold yesterday. We'll break down that a little bit. And anything else related to the Steelers, Penguins, or Pirates that we so happen to come across along the way. Before we continue any further, to those of you in here right now, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, I would appreciate it if you leave a like on this live stream, share this live stream, and feel free to drop a comment in the comments section, just like this. Hang on, it's loading here. There we go, right there up on the screen. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, we can interact that way in real time. So get anything that you feel free to put out there into the world on your mind. Put it in the comment section, and we can talk about it. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to kick off today's show talking about the Cam Heyward situation. No, it did not go anywhere. We all thought that, this thing was over. He was back practicing with the team last week. I mean, sure, I'm pretty sure deep down we all thought, all right, at least he's back working, so he will play. I'm sure he's still behind the scenes, bargaining still for a couple extra $1 million thrown his way. But now this saga for about, a month now has taken another turn, and this one, it's getting a little bit too close, time for worrying here, because Heyward, on his podcast, Not Just Football this morning, on two separate occasions, brought up, what all he is doing with the Steelers. His co-host, Hayden Walsh, asked if there was anything new going on with Cam near the beginning of the episode. Cam said no, nothing new at all. Then about 20 minutes later, which, who knows how long, with them editing and trimming up this video, who knows how long it was before this situation was brought up again. Cam was asked, is he ready for the weekend? And, is he going to be out there and good to go against the Jets coming up on Saturday? And Cam says, we'll see. Was asked if he's going to play against the Jets, and he says, we'll see. This, we've talked about this so much here with Cam. I'm sure some people take his side. Others, say you signed your contract. You got to lay in the bed that you made here. But this close to the season, it is, getting kind of ridiculous now on Cam's part. I think this is a final attempt, maybe between him and the Steelers, back and forth there. Who's going to blink first? Cam threatening he'll sit out, or not confirming that he will play, even though he's completely healthy. The Steelers, I'm sure on their part, they're still like, all right, Cam, you signed your contract. I know we got the money to do so, but if we start throwing money out willy-nilly to everyone just because they want it, then we're going to be looked at as a pushover franchise here. So interesting stuff from Cam. Says we'll see if he's going to play. This isn't something, accidental or just spur of the moment. Cam saying that it can't be taken out of context, really. Like I said, his podcast, it's not, talking live like you and I are doing right now. They probably recorded this yesterday, if I had to guess, and they probably had, 12 hours between recording it yesterday and releasing it this morning to decide, hey, whether or not we're going to leave these two parts, at least this part of him saying we'll see in the video. So thought that was, interesting. I think that's, him and most likely his agent, getting the spotlight back on them one last time before the season starts. And really, we shouldn't be all that surprised by this. I know it's pretty worrisome that it's, this thing is still going on and we're less than a week until opening game against the New York Jets. But Adam Schefter, Steelers insider for the NFL insider for ESPN, he said yesterday on the Pat McAfee show that Cam Heyward has a decision to make before the Steelers play on Sunday. It's going to be interesting to see if he's out on the practice field this Wednesday, tomorrow, which is when the Steelers will practice one or two more times before the Jets game. So if Schefter is hearing it, anything regarding this Heyward situation, we're pretty much going to take it as gospel. To this point, I think he is the conduit that Heyward and his agent are using to make their feelings known out to the masses right now. So keep an eye on Adam Schefter and his profile when it comes to this Cam Heyward situation for the foreseeable future. Like I said, it's pretty nerve-wracking now for the Steelers. And, with all the stuff that's going on, Derek Harmon situation, more on that from Mike Tomlin's press conference here in a moment. I think Keanu Benton was banged up not too long ago as well. So the Steelers defensive line, with already questions about their depth, two of their starters, one of them dealing with a more serious injury, going to be out this week in Derek Harmon. And then another one who is probably not 100% right now, Cam Heyward, all of a sudden playing mind games, playing hooky, chicken, whatever you want to call it, with the Steelers for a couple extra bucks. It's starting to get a little frustrating right now. He did practice on Sunday, getting ready for the game, but Sunday practice didn't really mean anything at this point. You want to see if he's out there on the practice field ahead of this weekend's game. So who knows? Maybe he takes the Chris Jones route, defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. He, a couple years ago, I think, 2-3 years ago, something like that, sat out the season opener. Kansas City Chiefs lost that game, and they ended up paying Jones after the fact. Will Heyward take it to that point? I don't know, but it's starting to get kind of ridiculous. I've always kind of had a open mind here throughout this whole situation, where I understand where Heyward's coming from. He is, you look at a whole spreadsheet of what defensive linemen in the NFL are making. He is not close to being paid what his production is worth. And I understand, how he sees that the Steelers have a ton crap in salary cap space right now. Sliding a few million up shouldn't be all that, shouldn't be that much of an issue. But I also see the Steelers side of it. They don't want to be viewed as pushovers. They want players to honor the contracts that they sign, no matter, whether it's a bad deal for the team or a good deal for the team. And that takes you into this whole Cam thing even deeper. Cam, understand that you signed a contract. Understand that you're, probably underpaid for what your production is worth. You got to take into effect his age. And also, it's kind of Omar John's job to get the best players at the lowest, possible price. That's unfortunately the way that things work in the NFL, Cam. You signed your contract, you got paid. I think at the time, the most money that a player of his age has ever been paid, besides a non-quarterback. And now that other younger defensive linemen have passed him by, he wants to be paid like them. I'm sorry. You just got to accept the fact that you signed the contract when you did. The market reset on you. Tough luck. And that's pretty much where I'm standing right now. I'm thinking I'm starting to waffle more towards, kind of ridiculous. You already made, 13 out of the $14 million that you were owed this season. You're going to get that extra million in, performance bonuses and whatnot. Now it's time to, play and honor the contract that you signed, or else every single year, every other player will be coming back to the table just because they had a good year saying they want more. So kind of ridiculous. The Cam Heyward saga takes another turn. So we'll see what comes of it. To the comments section, real quick, Flacco salute. My dad, Cam needs to figure it out and play ball. If not, trade his butt. Should he get more money? Yes. But he signed what we gave him last year. Absolutely. His fault. He signed it. Yeah, his fault on his, agent, really, throughout this whole entire process. If it goes back a couple weeks now, back when the Steelers were still in Latrobe, and Cam said, I told the Steelers that if I have an all-pro season like how I think I can have, I'm going to come back to the table and ask for more money. If you were so confident in that, why didn't you or your agent think of, hey, let's put it in my contract right now that I'm going to make, an extra $5 million if I do that? That's problem number one that you can't fault on anyone else but Cam and his agent. Also, can't fault on anyone else by Cam and his agent, how quickly he and his agent, or whatever his agent is putting in Cam's head, how quickly that he turned all of a sudden into a, wouldn't say villain, but a less respected player than what he once was. Cam, consummate professional, perfect Pittsburgh Steeler, comes in first, leaves last, works hard. But this isn't the Cam Heyward that we once knew. So it's really a whole screwing of the mind here, because it's just crazy. Negotiation was over once he signed the contract. Exactly. And ultimately, do I see the Steelers maybe just sliding a couple million up to make him happy? Maybe, and they can have the excuse, Cam Heyward is a Walter Payton Man of the Year, franchise guy. We don't do this stuff for everyone, but for him, he's kind of an exception. But, the Steelers, they aren't required to, keep throwing bonuses the other way, keep throwing bonuses to everyone who has a good year. Let's just say that this played the other way. What if Cam Heyward last year had another injury-riddled down season, and the Steelers said, hey, Cam, you're making $14 million. Why don't you take a pay cut because you had such a bad year? Like, no, you don't see the Steelers doing that. So why is Cam the other way, coming here and saying, hey, I had an all-pro season. Even though I didn't put it in pen, I told you guys I'd be back. Well, tough luck. So it's really getting annoying, this whole Cam Heyward situation. But we'll see what comes of it. Will he sit out on Sunday? Will he show up to work? Who knows? That's going to be a hell of a journey between today on Tuesday and Sunday. We're going to be glued to see how this situation develops. If he does well, we should give him a bonus towards December-ish. Don't pay him to miss last 7 games. That's... I don't think that the Steelers are going to give him a bonus in season unless they go completely out of their ways and do like what the Chiefs did a couple years ago and pay Cam after the first 1 or 2 weeks. There's so many scenarios of how this can play out that it's, hard to keep them straight. But paying Cam, late in the season like that, I don't think will be the way to go. So that's the latest on the Cam Heyward situation. Says we'll see when it comes to playing this weekend. Adam Schefter said Cam Heyward's got a decision to make, and that was yesterday, so this definitely is a real situation. Cam really is considering to sit out week 1. He did practice over the weekend, but we'll see if he practices tomorrow. I'm sure reporters will be, on the spot saying, hey, Cam isn't here. Stuff, along those lines. Also, Chris Boswell, Adam Schefter on McAfee yesterday said that Chris Boswell still in the same situation as Cam Heyward. So, don't think Bos is going to sit out, but who knows at this point. This has been one of the craziest off seasons that I've ever experienced as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And now, after most of it was drama-free, at least from the beginning of training camp up to the past couple of weeks. Oh, there we go. We're back. Anyways, continuing. After, the whole preseason was drama-free. Well, the whole training camp up until a certain point was drama-free. Cam drops this on us, so it's gonna be a crazy time between now and Sunday. That's all I can say. Or if he passes the sack threshold, Bos I would pay. Well, Bos got 2 years on his contract left, just like Heyward, and I think Bos needs to realize that I think Heyward is going to be valued more in this situation. I don't think Bos has that much leverage to sit out anymore. Most of our points, W's came from that man. Yeah, but I understand Bos is, a top 3 kicker in the NFL, but he's also, I think, more replaceable than, Cam is, the longtime cornerstone of your defensive line, who's still, expected to be that guy with still kids joining him on that D line. I don't think Bos is going to sit out. I think he might get an extension. Maybe the Steelers do buck that trend and give him an extension mid-year. If not, it'll be next year for Bos. But Cam, who the hell knows? We'll see. Anyways, talking more about the Cam Heyward situation, Mike Tomlin this afternoon, had his weekly press conference leading into the New York Jets game, and he addressed the Cam Heyward situation, not in his opening monologue. I'll just sort of throw everything in a pile here and, pick it out to you of what all he said today. But Tomlin, his first question that he was asked after his opening monologue was about Heyward. And hang on. Tomlin said that he has no reservations about Heyward's participation or readiness. Said, quote, Cam, I'm certainly expecting Cam to play. Cam doesn't play a lot in team development in several years. My job is to get him in and out of Latrobe. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit. Sounds like Cam saying we'll see about him playing on Sunday. That really sounds like he's chomping at the bit, like he sleeps in his pads ready to, go out there on the field Sunday and chase after Justin Fields for 3 hours. That doesn't sound like it to me there, Mike. Also, some context to that question. Tomlin being asked if Cam is ready to play on Sunday. I think that was more Tomlin addressing it from the physical aspect that, yeah, Cam's ready to go. I'm certainly expecting Cam to play, like, from a health standpoint. So that kind of is a washout there. Anyways, continuing on with what all went down in Mike Tomlin's press conference today. Like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Cam Heyward, he's dealing with a contract situation. He's considering sitting out on Sunday. Keanu Benton, he isn't 100% healthy. He was dealing with an upper body injury of some sort a couple weeks ago, so he may not be 100%. And the third starter on the defensive line for the Steelers has been ruled out. Tomlin saying that Derek Harmon will not play this Sunday with his MCL sprain or something like that. I forget what it is that he sprained, but Derek Harmon is out. Also, linebacker Nick Herbig, he is questionable, according to Tomlin. I think Herbig has been working his way back from a groin or hamstring injury, one of those two. Herbig, though, over the weekend did practice. Tomlin said he had a strong day practicing yesterday on Monday. So they'll keep an eye on him throughout the week. The door is ajar, as Mike Tomlin likes to call it. I think, seeing videos of Herbig in practice, he will be good to go. Replacing Derek Harmon in question, Tomlin said that it will be a committee approach to addressing that. So to replace Derek Harmon, assuming that Keanu Benton and Cam Heyward do play, you might see Benton at times pop outside to defensive end. Then you can see the likes of Daniel Ekuale come in at defensive tackle when Benton's on the inside. Might see Y.A. Black or Isaiah Loudermilk fill in. So it's going to be a committee approach to fill in the big shoes that rookie Derek Harmon has already planted here on this team. Other than that, Harmon and Herbig, no other mentions of injuries for Tomlin today. So I assume that means Alex Highsmith, who was dealing with a groin injury, will be good to go. Calvin Austin with an oblique injury will be good to go as well. Ben Skoranek, Juan Thornhill, those types of guys, they'll all be healthy and ready to go on Sunday. Looking at the Jets today, this was a part of his opening monologue. Tomlin said that the Steelers' main focus is going to be on the running game. No surprise there. Mentioned, firstly, the running back tandem of Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. He compared those two to David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs up in Detroit, which that is a lofty comparison for those two. Breece Hall surely is a dog. Braylon Allen had a good year last year, so Steelers are going to be looking to contain and minimize the Jets' running game first and foremost. That does include Justin Fields. Tomlin mentioned him second. Said that Fields is stronger than most mobile quarterbacks, and he's not easy to bring down. Said that it's reasonable to expect that there will be designed running game for Justin Fields. So the Jets with Fields, Hall, Allen, they're going to run the ball some more. Steelers, hopefully they can contain that. I think their plan will be to force Fields to throw the ball more, which I think will, unless he, after 6 games here last year, developed into, a top 15 passer in the league. I think the Steelers, they can stop the run. They'll be at an advantage having Fields throw to Garrett Wilson. I'm trying to remember what all, weapons other than running backs they have in the receiving game. Garrett Wilson, is Tyler Conklin still there? Mason Taylor, second round tight end out of LSU. A couple other guys there. I think Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard. So I think that's the Steelers' plan. Stop the run. Make Fields throw the ball against this new revamped secondary. And that will be their key to victory. Also, key to victory will be how the Steelers perform early in this ball game. Can they get the offense rolling Tomlin has confidence that the offense, despite not having any preseason game reps, will be good and will be ready to rock and roll on Sunday. He said, quote, "You can't hide under your desk. You can hide under your desk or you can be confident." He chooses to be confident. One area where Tomlin is, in my opinion, way too confident in, as is the other members of that Steelers front office, they are confident in the wide receiver room. And Tomlin said that it's not a big issue for me or for us when it comes to the Steelers lacking a legitimate wide receiver too. So Steelers fans, DK Metcalf, get ready to see a ton of Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin. Scotty Miller, I'm sure, will work his way in there. Same thing with Brent Skoranek. Those five, that's all you're going to get. Steelers not going to add a wide receiver. Think that is Tomlin, despite all the visits and rumors and speculations of Omar Khan calling this team, then the Steelers meeting with this wide receiver, it's not going to happen. Now that we're especially on a Tuesday ahead of a Sunday game, there's no way that a wide receiver is going to come in here tomorrow for one or two practices in a walkthrough and get on a flight with the team to New Jersey. Just ain't going to happen. So at least for this week one, everyone expect the Steelers to roll out those five wide receivers. Tomlin, Omar Khan, and the rest of the Steelers organization confident and see no issue with the Steelers having just DK Metcalf and then sprinklings of Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. Also, just catching up on the wide receiver front here. Steelers, a couple of those wide receivers that we've been talking about today. Gabe Davis, like we kind of expected would happen. He signs with the Buffalo Bills. He's going to stay on their practice squad as he recovers from his torn meniscus and then get ready to play at some point this season. Also, wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, who got released last week from the New England Patriots. Doesn't look like the Steelers are on his radar or vice versa. Visited with the 49ers yesterday. He's going to visit with the Commanders, I think, today. So, Steelers, no addition of a wide receiver to pray with all your might that DK Metcalf does not get hurt. One last thing that Tomlin mentioned in his press conference today, and we're going to play this into another segment here. He said that he is proud and happy for Jaylen Warren. For those of you who do not know, yesterday, Warren inks his first big boy contract of his still pretty young NFL career. Tomlin said he is happy for Jaylen Warren in getting his extension, said that he will be the team's featured running back, but that they will also play Kenneth Gainwell and Caleb Johnson. Looking here at Jaylen Warren in his contract, is a 2-year extension that pays him about $7 million this year, and it is a $12 million deal guaranteed. The deal was done and announced by Warren's agent, David Cantor of Aura Sports Group. Just looking at some of the numbers here of Warren's extension over the next 3 years, he will make just under $17.5 million this year. Signing this new deal, it includes a $5.95 million signing bonus, makes him $7 million this year. $5 million in each of the next 2 seasons. But yeah, congratulations to Jaylen Warren. Like I said, Tomlin says he's going to be the feature running back for the Steelers. This extension shows their confidence in that he will be that way for the next little while. But regardless, I think we all should be very happy because that locks in the Steelers and having Jaylen Warren and Caleb Johnson, a young, big, bruising running back, as well as this veteran receiving shifty option. Really, what I'm getting at here, the Steelers with Warren now and Johnson for the next 3 years. They could have a hell of a 1-2 tandem punch, maybe even better than what it was like when Najee Harris was here with Warren. So congratulations to Warren. Let's see if Caleb Johnson can develop behind him. But right now, number 30 is RB1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the foreseeable future. Also, just another thing on Warren, congratulations on this extension. Lots of people, players, fans alike, have been really behind him in this extension. And he's had one hell of a uphill battle in his football career that has, been very, what's the word I'm looking here? Commendable. Started playing JUCO at some college, then went to Utah State, then went to Oklahoma State, was undrafted. Steelers picked him up. He impressed in his first training camp, made the team out of camp, climbed up the depth chart. Clearly, I think, to all of us, surpassed Najee Harris, especially last year as the Steelers' top running back. And now he gets to sign an extension. So congratulations to Warren. And now that brings an end to all of the hardcore Steelers news from over the weekend and today. So we talked about a lot here within the first half hour of the show. Real quick, let's go back to the comments section real quick, catch up on some of those. Nathan Murray in the comment section. Welcome, Nathan. Cam Heyward will be playing. Tomlin done said it today. Tomlin said one thing. Tomlin says a lot of things. And I think, Tomlin with the media, he will feed you a bunch of BS. It's only up to you that you do not buy it. If you haven't watched or listened to Tomlin's press conference, go back and listen to it. It was the first question that he was asked, I think, by Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Tomlin was asked, does he expect Cam Heyward to play? Tomlin can say, yeah, I expect Cam to play. But if you listen to the sound, to the question itself, I think Dulac said it sort of giving Tomlin an out. Didn't specifically say, hey, Cam said this on his podcast. Do you expect him to play? That was not mentioned. So Tomlin probably took that of, yeah, Cam, even though he didn't play this preseason, he's healthy, he's ready to go. So that's saying what Tomlin said. It can be taken in multiple contexts. I just don't think that it was in the context that a ton of people have been expecting. I think Tomlin said that specifically and strictly about health reasons and about Heyward not playing in the regular season. So I'll believe Cam Heyward will be on that field at MetLife Stadium when I see it on Sunday. So even though Tomlin said it, Cam said one thing, Tomlin says another here, kind of conflicting there in and of itself. But Tomlin does like to feed us a bunch of BS. So we'll see what comes of it here in the next couple of days. See if Cam can get out on that practice field tomorrow. 7 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream. If you are new here to the channel, I will once again say please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I'm live again or when I upload any other videos. We're up to 505 subscribers here on the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you who have done so up to this point. Also, leave a like, share this live stream, and leave a comment in the comment section, just like Flacco and Nathan have done up until this point. I also did not mention this at the beginning of the show. Would appreciate it if you gave the channel a follow on the following social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and X at SteelCitySR, same username as here on YouTube, and tune in later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue into the more Pittsburgh sports news segment here of the program, and usually this kind of is a signal that we are, in the fourth quarter of the show, but that ain't necessarily the case here today. We have a ton of extra Pittsburgh sports news to talk about. We'll get in a little bit deep on some of it, some other things, not so much, but we are going to continue here talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I believe this was yesterday, if I am not mistaken, the team naming their captains for the upcoming season. Just 4 captains this year. Hell, I remember at times when there used to be like 6, 7. Please do not do that stupid meme. Please don't clip me doing that. But I do remember the time when there used to be multiple captains. Now, just 4. You see the captains there on your screen right now. Cam Heyward and TJ Watt. No surprise for either of those 2 men. They are once again captains. However, the captaincy not really looking all that great on Cam Heyward right now, if I had to say so. At least, from a fan perspective. I'm sure teammates, most of whom who are still going to bat for him on getting this pay raise, they don't mind Cam being a captain, but yeah, not a good PR wise past month or so for Cam Heyward. Still the captain of the team, but with everything else going on, fans are starting to really critique his characteristics that make him a captain. The 2 other captains on the team this year, Aaron Rodgers, the lone captain on offense. Some people shocked of, holy hell, this dude's only been here for 3 months. He played his inevitable signing with the Steelers all off season. Why the hell is he a captain? I think him being a 20-plus year vet in the NFL, leading multiple teams, multiple locker rooms with hundreds and hundreds of players. I think, that experience, and really, you haven't heard a single bad thing about him that you've heard the boogeyman stories about from other organizations. You haven't seen anything bad, character-wise or teammate-wise from him at all up to this point. So teammates love him. He's an experienced vet, one of the very few very seasoned guys on that side of the ball. Don't mind him being the lone captain. I was trying to think who else on the offensive side of the ball besides Rodgers could have possibly been captain. I was thinking maybe Isaac Seumalo, but he's really the silent lead by example guy, not the let's sit down in the locker room and all of us discuss things out. DK Metcalf, can argue for him to be a captain, but he's still, pretty young in this league so far. So, yeah, those are the captains. Miles Killebrew, the 4th captain of that group of 4. Special teams captain, no surprise there. He's been that for the past couple of seasons. Sticking with the Steelers here, and sticking with the talk of those captains, well, not really, but the Steelers today, they released their first real regular season depth chart ahead of their week 1 game against the Jets this weekend, and still not that many surprises, as you see right here. Just no real change from what we've seen throughout the preseason. Now, at this point, it's like looking at this depth chart. Some guys the guys who got cut, you just move them on out, move other guys up. Just a couple of other notes here on this depth chart. Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, as you see in one of the tight end slots there, they still have that or designation there. So Freiermuth or Jonnu Smith will be the starting tight end here. I thought that was a little bit confusing. They have Darnell Washington as a starter in the 2nd tight end slot here. If you're going to have Freiermuth or Jonnu Smith as a starting tight end, then why not just put Washington behind one of those 2 guys? So that was a little bit confusing to me. A couple other notes on this depth chart. Caleb Johnson, as you see, still clearly the RB3. They're pretty much fitting. I'm not going to write the third-round pick off for the rest of his career, but, looking at the preseason tapes, showed some good things, but also showed a lot that he still needs to work on and he needs to grow into here in the NFL. So behind Jaylen Warren, who just got paid and is going to be the number one running back here, and behind another veteran in Kenny Gainwell, who can do well in the receiving game, Johnson clearly the RB3 right now. Some more notes on this new depth chart. Calvin Austin, looking at the wide receiver group, he, as we talked about, is wide receiver 2 behind DK Metcalf. Also, behind those two, not sure, they don't exactly have specific numbers of who's WR1, 2, 3, 4, but assuming Metcalf is the number 1 and Austin is the number 2, Scotty Miller, he is WR3 and Roman Wilson WR4. So, congrats, Scotty Miller. I mean, I've said this once before. I'll say it again. Just think about a couple months ago. He was just going to be a guy there to fill a warm body spot, most likely, throughout training camp. And now he's WR3 on this team. Aaron Rodgers likes him. Maybe he has a little bit of a renaissance here. Shows a little bit of what he did down in Tampa Bay, if not more. And Roman Wilson, now no longer WR5. He's WR4. I think more I'm looking at it, they might have just put Wilson behind Austin, because when Austin comes off the field, Roman's going to go on. So that's interesting stuff there. Derek Harmon, looking at the defensive portion of this depth chart, still listed as the starting defensive end, but like Tomlin said, he has been rolled out, so Y.A. Black behind him will fill in at defensive end. You also could see Keanu Benton at times kick out to defensive end. Daniel Akwale will fill in at nose tackle there. I just hope, really, that we do not reach a certain point where, and it's not impossible here, that you have all 3 of those backups playing at the same time on Sunday. Cam Heyward questioning about playing. Keanu Benton not 100% from, a couple weeks ago. Could, re-aggravate whatever was bugging him, and Derek Harmon's already out, so you'd be looking at that point, your best defensive lineman is Y.A. Black, which, hey, hell of a preseason for him, but, man, what a scary thought that is. Wrapping up some chatter about the Steelers depth chart ahead of their Week 1 matchup with the New York Jets. Just looking at special teams here, kickoff returners and punt returners. Kenneth Gainwell and Caleb Johnson both labeled as kickoff returners. Would not think heading into Latrobe that Caleb Johnson would be a kickoff returner, but hey, get surprised by something every day. Kenneth Gainwell, though, being there comes as no surprise. He did that a lot in Philadelphia. He is the number 1 kickoff returner, according to this list. But, of course, there's always 2 returners back deep. Gainwell will be the number 1 guy there. And then punt returner here. Good show of health for Calvin Austin. Not just that he's a starter on offense at wide receiver, but also that he is still the team's number 1 punt returner. Did pretty well at that spot last year. Scotty Miller, the backup punt returner for Austin. Continuing on here with some extra Pittsburgh sports news, but real quick, let's go back to the concepts. Concepts here. No more Gabe Davis, apparently. Jacoby Myers. No concepts. Seeing here, you're just joining the party. No Jacoby Myers, no Gabe Davis, no nothing. No nothing. Tomlin says that he and everyone else, they're comfortable with the wide receivers that they got. So we're looking forward to hopefully seeing Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson show us something that we didn't know they possessed. But no Gabe Davis. He's back to Buffalo. Steelers, from what we know, aren't in on Kendrick Bourne. They lost. They didn't even try for Amari Cooper. Jacoby Myers, Raiders aren't trading him. There's nothing. Pretty much nothing out there for the Steelers. They have missed out on MVS as well. Just going through all the wide receivers that we've talked about in like the past week and a half here. Nothing's going to come of it, Concepts. Nothing. Why is Cam bad for not honoring his contract with zero guaranteed? But the team isn't bad not honoring Patterson's 2-year contract. No difference logically. It makes no sense. I do get that. I do get that, honestly. But at some point, it's getting kind of ridiculous here. Cam just haggling over a couple of $1 million when he already made 13 of his 14 for this year. I know it's a harsh league where, players, teams don't always honor the contract of the players and they cut them too soon. But at some point, it's getting ridiculous with Cam. If he would have done this earlier in the offseason, before he collected his bonus already, his roster bonus, I think it was March, he collected that $13 million for being on roster. If he would have, done this then nobody would have batted an eye about it. But seeing how he already collected his money for the year, the Steelers already paid him for his services for this year, and now he's holding out for more. That's the one part where it gets me. Not directed at anybody, just general thought. No hate. No, I understand Concepts. I understand multiple, situations here. In the end, there's going to be people in the wrong. There's going to be people in the right. But both the Steelers and Heyward here, they have right views and wrong views of the situation. But, we're still doing this on a Tuesday ahead of a Sunday game. That's where it's, starting to irk me. Saw Woods was released and got hopeful, but then saw he requested it. He wants to be on a 53. Too bad. Was hoping another move would come. Oh, well. Yep. That was what I was going to continue along with here. Right now, Concepts. Going to skip over a couple things here. That was a roster move that the Steelers made today. They, per his request, released wide receiver Robert Woods, was signed to the practice squad about this time. Oh, no. About 6 days ago, on Wednesday last week. He was added back to the practice squad. Like you said, Concepts, he, according to Ian Rappaport and his sources, says that Woods only wants to continue playing if it's on a 53-man roster. Steelers said, all right, you want out? Perfect. We'll just fill in another wide receiver on the practice squad in your place. Besides, I think Woods looked a bit slow. At one point looked like he would be a guy that was going to be damn near a shoo-in for this roster, but really lackluster preseason for him. So no surprise there. In his place, Concepts, you did not comment here. In his place, for now, the Steelers signed linebacker John Radigan. So veteran linebacker, former Seahawk and Carolina Panther. He visited with the team yesterday and this morning got a deal done. Getting back into some other things here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you looked a couple minutes ago at that depth chart, you might have seen a couple players with some new numbers, and you are not mistaken. Yesterday, Steelers players got a couple of new uniform numbers. Andres Pete, offensive lineman for the Black and Gold, who, honestly, I love. Brought him in midway through camp, got guard tackle versatility, him making the 53-man roster without really any sort of fanfare tells you how much the Steelers love him. He changed his number from 68 to 71. Azizi Otomemwo, I believe he was 72 in the preseason. Veteran defensive tackle from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is now wearing number 93, last worn by Mark Robinson. And the last one of the active roster players here, Y.A. Black, who I'll admit looked pretty damn good in that 78. I know Steelers defensive lineman, ever since Javon Hargrave, just never really looked all that good aesthetically in the 70 numbers. But Y.A. Black, man, it really flashed you back to like the olden days of the Steelers. Back to like the Joe Green days, when they were wearing 70 numbers all the time. But Y.A. Black does change. He is no longer 78. He's back to his college number 94, which, hey, I'm cool with as well. 94 looked good on him at Iowa. Pretty much the same uniform here in Pittsburgh. He wears 94 there. No issue. Couple other Steeler uniform number changes. Deshaun Jameson, practice squad corner. He is now wearing number 38. Trey Sermon, running back. He is now wearing number 37 after I think he wore 27 in the preseason. And someone, don't let Antonio Brown know this, Max Hurlman. Remember him? Sort of a jack of all trades there on offense. Changes his number from 34 because that is Dante Kent's on the active roster to 84. So the streak of awesome, I don't want to be rude and say nobodies, but the streak of just really passerby players for the Steelers wearing 84 continues since Antonio Brown left the Steelers. Just mentioned Y.A. Black and his number change a couple of minutes ago. Speaking of Black, congratulations to him. CBS Sports, they released their all-rookie team for the preseason, and Black made that defense. The CBS, they took 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 3 defensive backs. Black, along with BJ Green and Deion Walker, which Deion Walker, I remember him, defensive tackle, big, like 6'7", 340, 50-pound D tackle out of Kentucky. I liked him as well. He and Black, who are both cut from that same cloth, big, heavy dudes. They both make the all-rookie teams. Only thing I do not like about that all-rookie team graphic from CBS Sports, 3 Ravens on that all-rookie team. Mike Green and Jay Higgins at linebacker, and Keon Martin at corner. So that could be a little bit worrisome. Just real quick, focusing on a couple of other things here loosely related to the Steelers. Backtracking to yesterday's practice with the black and gold, we talked about Cam Heyward out there doing some work. Nick Herbig as well doing some work, even though he is questionable for this week. Couple other notes. Aaron Rodgers. People for, I think, a couple of weeks ago, really media aggregators, they were saying, my God, does Aaron Rodgers look old? Tell you what, him moving around quite a bit in that practice on Monday, yesterday, he looks quite nimble for a 41, soon to be 42-year-old. Looks like he might have just been, and I probably could have guessed this, we all could have guessed this weeks ago. Probably just, not going through the motions, but making sure that he doesn't overdo it in training camp. He looks probably the most spry 41-year-old I've ever seen. He looks damn good. A couple other notes from Steelers practice yesterday. Jaylen Warren, he was the last one out to practice. Wonder why, signing his new contract. And even though he is on IR, Will Howard beginning to throw as he recovers from his broken finger. Not in uniform or anything like that. However, was out there in sweatpants and a sweatshirt, running through the bag drills, throwing to coaches and other practice personnel on the side. So do expect, maybe he does make that return after the first 4 weeks of the season and gets back in there like we all anticipate. Couple other notes here for the Steelers, which I'm sorry, there was just a ton of Steelers news over the weekend. Instead of talking about, what the Steelers did yesterday, let's talk about what they did this weekend. College football back in full swing. I'm sure many of you did, made little to no plans throughout the weekend, or if you had plans, you made do and watched as much college football as you possibly can. Some Steelers personnel did that as well. Couple games that some Steelers scouts, at least, were present for over the weekend, according to Allen Saunders. Steeler beat writer for Pittsburgh Steelers now, he says that scouts for the Steelers were at Clemson and the Clemson and LSU on Saturday night. They were also at the Arizona State game over the weekend. They were at of course, as you would expect, the Texas-Ohio State game in Columbus. That's probably the easiest trek for Steeler scouts. They don't have to go that far to Columbus. And then to wrap it up, on Sunday, I believe, Steeler scouts, they were at South Carolina and Virginia Tech. What do all of those games have in common? They all possessed top quarterbacks, or at least projected top quarterbacks for this year's upcoming NFL, for the upcoming 2026 NFL draft in Pittsburgh. In Columbus, Arch Manning for Texas, which, my goodness, he had a god-awful outing. I understand, it's your first true college start, and you're in a, tough environment, probably one of the toughest in all of college football at the Horseshoe on a banner-raising day. But you cannot tell me that, you're Arch Manning. You got to live up to the last name at least a little bit. You've been, since you were born, bred through the Manning Passing Academy to be a starting quarterback in the NFL one day. And he went out there and laid the biggest of goose eggs. It is his first start, so I'm not going to go too harsh on Arch here. But still, though, not a good start. A couple other quarterbacks that the Steelers evaluated. They were at Clemson, LSU. Would not be surprised if the Steelers had multiple scouts at that game for Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier. That was a pretty good game. Nussmeier really showed out well. He's slowly starting to trickle up my quarterback rankings. They were at Arizona State to see Sam Levitt. Sam Levitt, although pretty much I think he's probably the quarterback I know least about, honestly, amongst, all the top quarterbacks, Drew Aller, Arch Manning, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier. And the final quarterback that the Steelers were probably evaluating in person this weekend, they were at South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Lenoris Sellers, which, my goodness, he's probably the perfect guy for the Steelers, and his performance over the weekend was probably perfect for the black and gold. Sellers showed some fantastic traits that looks like he could translate quite well to the NFL, but also made a handful of mistakes, which, hey, I'm okay with. We've seen the highest of highs with him, and even though the Steelers, since Ben left, haven't been able to develop a quarterback all that well, still, though, you draft quarterbacks based on potential. But if he mixes in a couple of stinkers here and there, I wouldn't be all that mad to, help his chances of sliding down to the Steelers. So, Steelers did their rounds in the college world, visiting all those games, getting some initial impressions maybe on a handful of the top quarterbacks for this upcoming year. Wrapping up some Steelers news here with a handful of other news topics. These are really ones that we're just going to mention passing by here. We talked about a couple minutes ago the Steelers releasing Robert Woods from their practice squad and adding linebacker John Radigan. Speaking of practice squads, linebacker Iku Leota, who was with the Steelers last year and through the preseason this year, he is signing with the New Orleans Saints. He's on their practice squad now. Keeping tabs on Steelers' divisional opponents, the Cincinnati Bengals, they made a solid practice squad addition, signing defensive tackle Mike Pennell. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs. So Bengals, I'm sure they will be eager to elevate him if they need help plugging the run or getting to the quarterback. A couple other Steeler news, passing by Steelers news topics here. I'm pretty sure that I mentioned this maybe a couple of weeks ago, but I'll mention it again now. It is confirmed Steelers broadcasting crew for their game on Sunday. If you watch it on CBS, Iron Eagle with J.J. Watt watching his brother TJ and Evan Washburn as the sideline reporter. Three more things here on the Steelers real quick. Today, Steelers announced that they have made some enhancements to Acrisure Stadium for the upcoming season. A couple of these we already knew about. A new turf playfield outside of Gate A at Acrisure Stadium has officially been completed. There's also a new video board on Art Rooney Avenue. Those two things are a part of the Steelers and the city of Pittsburgh's preparation for the draft next year. Also, there have been some Wi-Fi upgrades as well as updated charging stations all around Acrisure Stadium. And there is a new 500 level concession stand, new 500 level concession stands, plural, with new self-serving kiosks. So those are some updates made to Acrisure Stadium. A few other things. Steelers today, they dropped a new terrible towel, which, if you know me, I starting to grow a little bit of a addiction collecting terrible towels. But this one might be the best that they have done in quite a while. A Pittsburghese terrible towel with all sorts of different Pittsburgh sayings from Steelers history. Yoy and double yoy. Nebby, Yins, Warshrag, Gumband, Pittsburgh, Jeet Jet. So lots of different things here. This thing looks awesome. That'll be, if I end up getting one, which who knows, that will be featured prominently in this office. That's one thing for sure. And the last bit of news here for the day on the Steelers. Happy birthday to Steelers legendary quarterback, 4-time Super Bowl champion Terry Bradshaw. He celebrates his birthday today. So happy birthday, Terry. Moving into some Pittsburgh. Oh, real quick, let's go to the comment section. Get caught up on those real quick. It is Concepts again chiming in. AB and Hurlman look alike, so they can get away with disguising AB and Hurlman jersey. JK, of course. Yeah, really. That'd be a hell of a way, for AB, assuming that he hasn't come back to the States where, allegedly has an arrest warrant out for him. Would be hilarious if, it's kind of like a Scooby-Doo thing, a Scooby-Doo episode. At the end of the year, Max Hurlman, at some point in the season, got elevated to the active roster. He balls out for 10 games, has 50 receptions for 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then at the end of the year, take off the mask. Max Hurlman wasn't a real guy. It was Antonio Brown this whole time. So who knows? That would be crazy. Still do agree with a ton of people's sentiments out there that regardless of what you think about Antonio Brown, the person, and what he has done post-football career, if he were to come back and sanely play NFL football, just be fully committed to ball, he could still be a top-end wide receiver, or at least a WR2 in this league. Believe that. TJ at 11 miles at 8. What Twilight Zone NFL. Did talk about that on Friday Concepts. Watt coming in at number 11 in the NFL's top 100 players list. I, at the time, said, can't wait to see how much they inflated Myles Garrett. At least they didn't put Garrett all the way up in the top 3 or top 5. 8 is lesser, harder pill to swallow here, but still, stats are stats at the end of the day, not, oh, I almost gotcha, or I breathed on the quarterback this how many time stats. So Myles at 8, whatever. Do agree, though, that Saquon Barkley is at the top of that list. They didn't put Lamar Jackson. He came in at number 2. But I do agree that Barkley is the top player in the NFL right now, regardless of position. From everything I saw, Rodgers looks and moves like MVP. Rodgers media loves fake drama. Saw these goofy article titles. Yeah, indeed. And now we can finally, that Sunday is right around the corner here, put all these goofy titles and stuff to bed, and hopefully all this fake drama can be put mostly behind us. There will still be some stragglers out there trying to aggregate stuff from Rodgers, get under his skin during the season, but now we can stop speculating about a ton of stuff instead of Rodgers and start getting more concrete answers as the real football is about to kick off. Do agree, though, if Rodgers can move like that, or at least somewhat close to what he was like 4 or 5 years ago, good things around the corner here for the Steelers. My biggest concern with week 1, if the Jets' crappy turf help is priority number 1 for me. At least it's not the Commander Stadium, but yeah, MetLife Stadium. It is. That is one of those ACL hellholes for the NFL. If everyone can escape with only minor nicks and bruises, I'm going to take that as damn near as big of a win as it is, winning the actual football game. So that does worry me, especially, now that you think about it more, that's really a concoction for disaster. The Jets and their crappy field with the Steelers' strength and conditioning staff, which they've had a pattern now of having everyone get these soft tissues injuries, be a disaster. So hopefully Steelers do make it out healthy week 1. That's all you can pray and hope for besides a win. AB takes off the mask live while hosting the 7th Lombardi. That'd be the greatest moment in NFL history. That would be the greatest moment in history, period. Take away the NFL history. The ruse of the century, Antonio Brown, last known location, Abu Dhabi, is allegedly wanted back here in the States. Steelers go on a magical run led by Aaron Rodgers back in his prime and Antonio Brown and Max Hurlman, who nobody knew of 6 months ago. And AB takes it off with Terry Bradshaw up on stage. That would be even more hilarious. I don't know who has the Super Bowl this year, what channel or what network? Because don't they have someone up there on the stage, like giving interviews as they're hoisting the Lombardi? Imagine it was Terry Bradshaw who said very negative things about Aaron Rodgers, and then Antonio Brown pops out of the cake too, which I'm sure tons of people have said bad things about him, including Bradshaw before. So that'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. The most cartoon ending to an NFL season of all time, being a moment in history. All right, ladies and gentlemen, going to continue on here with some extra Pittsburgh sports news. And up until this point, we are over an hour now into the stream here, about an hour and 10 minutes into the stream here. And not once have we, except for in the very beginning, mentioned the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the Penguins, they're going to go unmentioned today. Nothing really much to talk about for them, aside from yesterday marking the day in 1999 when Mario Lemieux bought the Penguins officially. I was going to mention that passing by, saying like, oh, hey, yesterday in 1999, Mario bought the Pens. What if the Pens, get sold today? But that doesn't look like it's going to happen, even though it's, very close to happening. It's like close and not close at the same time, having the Pens being sold. But we will mention the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you see me looking over here to my right on my TV right now, the Pirates and LA Dodgers doing battle. They just began that game 9 minutes ago. Carmen Majinski, a breezy 1-2-3 top of the first inning. I believe he went up against Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman, the big three for the Dodgers. And this one is driven out. And a ground rule double for Jared Triolo. Hell yeah, Tree. My goodness, what the hell has gotten into him? Brian Hayes gets traded. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is gone, and all of a sudden, Jared Triolo, he's an all-star. How about it? A leadoff double to the north side notch for Triolo, a ground rule double off of Clayton Kershaw. Hell yeah. That is what we're going to talk about right now. The Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll keep an eye and an ear on the game right here to my right, but over the weekend, the Bucks, since we last spoke, they did battle with the Boston Red Sox up in Fenway for 3 games. Quickly recapping the games here. Friday night, the Bucks, they get a 4-2 win. Paul Skeens gets the victory. Tommy Pham had a 2-run double. Andrew McCutchen was 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, including the game-winning RBI. Skeens in the ballgame Friday night. 6 innings pitched. Did give up 7 hits, so more than usual by his standards. Gave up 2 runs. One of those was earned. Walked 1, struck out 6. 95 pitches for him. 59 strikes. 11 swings and misses. A 2.05 ERA on the season. And he is officially back to 500. A 9-9 record for Paul Skeens. I think, I don't want to write down in Sharpie that Skeens is going to win the Cy Young quite yet, because we always could be surprised. Zach Wheeler pitched most of the season, but he's going to be out the rest of the season now for the Phillies. The Phillies have another good pitcher in Christopher Sanchez, so don't want to count him out. But Skeens, man, he keeps humming along. Maybe gets 1 or 2 games over 500. Then I do think at some point you can, then you can write in Sharpie that he will win the Cy Young this year. Speaking of Skeens, by the way, interesting stat from Dan Zangrilli. He does Pirates pre and post game for 93.7 The Fan. When Paul Skeens in his major league career gets 3 or more runs of support, the Pirates are 17-0. Again, to clarify, when Paul Skeens, during the portion of the game where he is pitching, if the Pirates score 3 or more runs, the Pirates will not lose. That is a hell of a testament to how good Paul Skeens is. Also, a hell of a testament to how freaking terrible Ben Cherington is. Just wow. You're telling me if you're... Wow. Build an average offense. Hell, build an even below average offense for this Pirates team. Not just one that is straight horse's ass for, the first 2/3 of the season. And this team's going places. I thought that was crazy. Heading into Saturday night's ball game for the Buccos, right-handed pitcher Kyle Nicholas was put on the Major League Bereavement / Family Emergency list. Hope everything is going all right with him. And they also brought up left-handed pitcher Evan Sisk from AAA. Outfielder Jack Sawinski, he was placed on the 10-day IL Friday with a groin injury, if I'm thinking straight. Also, they recalled Ronnie Simon, who was sent down earlier last week as well. Heading into Saturday night's game. Speaking of Ronnie Simon, he played Friday night, sliding into home plate Friday, dislocated his shoulder, an ugly look for him. Thoughts and prayers for Ronnie Simon and his recovery. He lands on the 10-day IL. Cam Devaney, who the Pirates acquired in the Adam Frazier trade about a couple weeks before the trade deadline, was slugging it out in AAA, hitting home runs. He got called up for Saturday night's ball game against the Red Sox, and he was in the starting lineup. Bucks ended up routing the Sox in that game 10-3. O'Neal Cruz with probably one of his best home runs of the season, just an absolute no-doubter to straightaway center, and he still reached the top of the Green Monster. Just a titanic shot for him. In that ball game Saturday night, every single player in the Bucks lineup had a hit and at least 1 run scored or RBI. So a BTA performance for the Buccos. Johan Oviedo had 6 strikeouts. He's looking like it's looking like he legitimately is back to form. Great stuff there. And real quick here, ladies and gentlemen, chiming in on the ongoing ball game between the Buccos and the Dodgers. Speaking of guys all of a sudden turning into all-stars, Tommy Pham. Pay that man whatever he wants this offseason. He just had a no outs, bases loaded double down the right field line that got past the right fielder, Teoscar Hernandez. I think that got 2 runs home. So now runners are at second and third with nobody out against Clayton Kershaw. Andrew McCutchen now batting. Holy hell, what the hell is getting into the Bucks? Woo-hoo! So Triolo doubles. I think, I'm not sure who's in the lineup. Horwitz might have walked. Hey, what is the starting lineup real quick for the Bucks tonight? Starting lineup for the Bucks: Triolo, Gonzalez, Reynolds, Pham, McCutchen, Canario, Nick York, who is back in the big leagues, by the way. Was going to mention that here in a minute, but I'll do it now anyways. Henry Davis and Cam Devaney. So Triolo doubles. Gonzalez, I assumed, walked. Same thing with Reynolds and Tommy Pham with a double. And the Bucks are going to score another run. Holy hell. Andrew McCutchen just hit a comebacker to Kershaw at the mound. He couldn't field it cleanly. It squibbed past him slow enough to not reach the shortstop, but far away enough to where Kershaw couldn't get the out at first. McCutchen safe. Another run scores. Runners are at the corners with no one out here. It was just a straight line drive back at Kershaw that Kutch hit. So now it's 3-0 Bucks immediately, and Alexander Canario is up to bat. Holy hell. So from the looks of it here, Jared Triolo, because Nick York and Alexander Canario in the lineup, looks like the lefties, Horwitz and Cruz, are getting the night off. So not 100%, not the best players all in at once lineup here for the Bucks against Kershaw, and they already put up a 3 spot on him. Holy hell, that's crazy. Real quick, wrapping up what the Bucks did this weekend. They took the first 2 games of their series against the Red Sox. Ahead of Sunday's game, they called up outfielder Ryan Kreidler, who they claimed off of waivers from the Detroit Tigers a little while back, to their taxi squad. On to the game itself, Sunday. Bucks and Red Sox. The Bucks got their first run of the ball game in the top of the 4th inning on a wild pitch with the bases loaded. That's all the Bucks did in terms of run production on Sunday. Game was pretty much over when in the bottom of the 5th inning, Jared Duran, the speedy all-star outfielder for the Red Sox, hit a bases loaded, bases clearing inside the park grand slam. Ball got past O'Neal Cruz in the outfield, went to the deepest part of the ballpark. So an ugly play there. That ended up being the final score, 4-1. But hey, the Buccos, though, all of a sudden they're red hot heading into tonight's ball game going on right now. They quietly won 22 of their last 38 ball games. So on a little bit of a heater to end the season. Unfortunately, who the hell cares, because it doesn't matter. But yeah, Bucks all of a sudden winning games. I think they've won 7 of their last 10. Jared Triolo is, all of a sudden hitting the ball all over the yard after a minor adjustment to his batting stance. Brian Reynolds is back to all-star form. Spencer Horwitz is looking like a solid addition at first base. Tommy Pham is an all-star. Pay him whatever the hell you want. Joey Bart slowly been getting back to the Joey Bart we saw last year, and Andrew McCutchen is still doing quite all right. So Bucks took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. A couple of other minor notes, minor roster moves relating to the Bucks that happened between today and Sunday. Hope you guys weren't hoping on the Bucks possibly bringing back Aroldis Chapman in the offseason. He signed a 1 year, $13 million extension with the Red Sox. So the Bucks saw him this weekend. He will stay there. The Pirates also released another lefty, reliever Tim Meza. I believe he had a shoulder injury back in April and just never saw the major leagues again after that, 33 years old. So they cut bait with him. If you remember, the Bucks placed on outright waivers Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He was claimed over the weekend by the Toronto Blue Jays. So after the Bucks, little under 2 years ago, trading for IKF from the Blue Jays, sending a Double-A prospect back to Toronto. That trade completely wiped out. IKF gone back to where he came from. Speaking of going back to kind of where they came from, the Bucks yesterday, the Bucks a while ago put Andrew Heaney, left-handed starting pitcher turned reliever, on waivers. He cleared waivers and got released by the team. And now, guess where he is? Back to a former old stomping ground of his with the LA Dodgers. So the Bucks, at the rate they're going, they might see Andrew Heaney tonight, because Nick York just hit another bloop single in the left field, and now puts the runners at first and seconds here. A diving attempt by the outfielder Michael Conforto for the Dodgers. Now with one out here, that lone out, productive one, Tommy Pham hitting a sacrifice fly. The Bucks have runners at first and second here with one out, and it's 4-0. And Henry Davis just cranked one down the line. Stay fair. Foul. Oh my goodness. I would have gone nuts if Hank Davis would have just hit a home run just now. That's crazy. Anyways, just a couple other things here for the Bucks. Their last roster move that they recently made, he was just up to bat. Nick York, who the Bucks acquired last year for Quinn Priester from the Red Sox. He is finally back in the big leagues. He, along with reliever Cam Sanders, who had a cameo appearance a couple of weeks ago, those two are now up with the team. They are a part of the September call-ups. If you don't know what that is, in September, every single MLB team is awarded 2 extra roster spots. So usually when those come around, you see an extra position player and an extra reliever come up. Sanders and York are those players. That brings us to tonight, right now. As you see right here, Bucks and Dodgers, a 4-0 lead for the Pirates. Ben Kasparius is up in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw has just thrown his 32nd pitch of the first inning, and he has one out. Oh my God, I would not have expected this to come from the Bucks tonight. This is crazy. Anyways, Majinski on the bump for the Bucks here. Kershaw pitching. The rest of the series outlook for the Bucks, really the second 2 games, the last 2 games of the series, they are the ones that you want to tune into. Braxton Ashcraft, he will start tomorrow for the Buccos. He will go against Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani back pitching. Also, you got Ashcraft there. If he doesn't come in tonight, then tomorrow you will see Bubba Chandler maybe at some point go head-to-head with Ohtani on the bump. But I do expect Chandler to pitch tonight. And then Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it's an afternoon game. You will want to tune into that. If you're a baseball fan in general, Paul Skeens on the bump against the former Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell. And Henry Davis grounds into an inning-ending double play. So the Bucks make Clayton Kershaw throw nearly 40 pitches in the first inning. They put up a 4 spot on the legendary Southpaw. That is kind of crazy there. But, yep, Bucks off to a good start in this series. Majinski against Kershaw tonight. Ashcraft versus Ohtani tomorrow. And then Skeens versus Snell, the big matchup, probably a top 5 pitching duel of the season, goes on Wednesday afternoon. Wrapping up the extra Pittsburgh sports news for the day here. Speaking of the Pirates today, another cool thing that they did, another rare PR win for the Pirates organization this year. Today they unveiled a marker, sort of a big sign on Federal Street, not Federal Street, on near Mazeroski Way. They unveiled a commemorative marker of where the Pirates 54 years ago put out the first all-minority lineup in MLB history. They did that in partnership with the Heinz History Center and local leaders. That is on the historical marker is on West General Robinson Street, so thought that was cool. The first all-minority lineup, tongue twister, was put out on September 1, so 54 years ago yesterday. In 1971, that minority lineup, if you don't know what it was, Rennie Stennett, Gene Clines, Roberto Clemente, Willie Stargell, Manny Sanguine, Dave Cash, Al Oliver, Jackie Hernandez, and Doc Ellis, all players that are from Dominican Republic, Latino descent, or from African American descent. So that's pretty cool there that the Bucks did that. It's not too far, honestly. It's probably a 50-yard walk from Acrisure Stadium. So go check it out if you're in Pittsburgh. Thought that was pretty cool. Looking here, Andrew McCutcheon in the dugout talking with O'Neal Cruz, who's not in the lineup today. This is crazy. Going to take one last scroll here through Twitter before we log off here for the evening. Do want to correct myself real quick. I looked at the schedule here. It is a night game on Wednesday between Paul Skeens and Blake Snell. Nonetheless, I mean, that's actually better. Everyone can be home and tune into that game, see what is going down. Or that is Thursday, Thursday game. I keep thinking it's Monday here. So it is a Thursday game for Skeens and Snell. Seeing if there's any other new news here for the day. Man, just aside from Pittsburgh professional sports here, shout out my Pitt Panthers blowing out the Duquesne Dukes. The ticket prices for this weekend's game against Central Michigan, they're totaling over $500. Dang. No, thank you. I want to go to a Pitt game at some point in my lifetime, but that's crazy for, Western Michigan. It's not even like a Notre Dame game setup. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, not seeing much else here, but hey, we talked about a ton today. Real quick, back to the comment section real quick. That's insane stuff. 3 runs. That's it. Just 3 runs. If the Bucks get 3 runs when Paul Skeens is still pitching out there on the mound, the Bucks win. So just please build a competent lineup. Not guys where your bottom, third of your lineup is, guys batting under 200. Just build an average, offense here for this Buccos team and watch them go. Unfortunately, though, the only downside to the Bucks, playing well recently and winning 22 of their last 38 games, is that it's probably in the end they're going to look at it like, hey, this team was around 500, or who knows, maybe even over 500 with Donnie Kelly as general manager. Derek Shelton was the problem. We'll keep Ben Cherington on for another year. It was all Derek Shelton's fault. Look at this team. They were much better with Donnie Kelly. Get the hell out of here. That guy's still a moron. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we're only in the top of the second inning here, and Carmen Majinski has only thrown 20 pitches. He's about to deliver his 21st. It indeed will be Bubba Chandler coming on soon. He is up and moving in the Bucks bullpen, so we'll see how he does against this very tough LA Dodgers lineup. think that's going to do it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you one more time. Thank you, Concepts. Great show. Appreciate it as always. I appreciate each and every one of you who stopped by here tonight. We covered a lot. Cam Heyward's situation with the Steelers, Jaylen Warren getting paid, Mike Tomlin's press conference heading into this weekend. The Bucs are doing well. Tons of other different things going on, and it's only going to continue from here. Crazy football season ahead. Probably a crazy end to this season for the Bucs, and hopefully a crazy offseason for the good for the local baseball team. And then also we'll have some Pittsburgh Penguins hockey to talk about as well. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed. One final time, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. We are up to 506 subscribers here on the channel, so thank you to you who subscribed while we were live here today. I appreciate it as always. Like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment on it after the fact. Go ahead and give the channel a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Steel City SR, and tune back in later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night. Back here tomorrow around the same time to cover more Pittsburgh sports news. See you then. Peace.